Hi everyone, I am Shan.
And I am Tam. This is the Real Talk Podcast.
On this podcast, we have some candid conversations between us about love, family, faith, relationships, parenting, work-life balance, and everything in between.
We invite you to not only listen, but interact with us and our guests as we have some real
Talk.
Shan and Tam fam, we are back again for another episode of Real Talk with Shan and Tam, the podcast. Today, we're talking about persons or a person who may have profoundly impacted your life. So Shan and I are going to have a quick discussion about this. And again, we would always love to hear from you. Drop us a comment on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, or even in the speaker app where you can find us, and let us know who is someone that has profoundly impacted your life. Could be one, it could be many. Shan?
Oh man, when I think of that, I can think of several people, right? Yeah. I first have to say my aunt, right? And I'll say her because growing up and the way how we grew up very tough, right? And she was the first person that left, right? And when she left and came to Canada, it was because of her, why all of us, my immediate family and her children are even here in Canada, right? I mean, she came, she could have turned her back on us, but she never did, my aunt was the one that introduced us to Barry, when Barry come home, she was the one, she supported us, right? And she was pretty much the rock of the family. She worked hard. She did so much for us, to take care of all of us, right? So, and because of her, because I oftentimes think, what would my life have been like? Because I didn't have the opportunity, the financial support in terms of that. We grew up very poor. So I didn't have the things that other students or other children in terms of access to opportunities. Like I didn't have that in Jamaica, right? But coming here, by virtue of you working hard and doing what you have to do, you can get ahead. And she paved that way for me to come here and for me to be able to go to school and to do what I have to do. I don't believe if I was still in Jamaica by virtue of my circumstances, I would have been where I am today. So listen, when I think about when you spoke about that, she was one of the first person that came to mind because it was because of her support and her encouragement why I'm where I am today. So she has greatly impacted my life, right? So, and she's one of the many people that I'll speak about. What about you?
Yeah, when I thought about this topic, I thought we would have spoken about one person. But then I'm thinking, no, sir.
No,
I
there's
know
so
only
many people.
one somebody.
Yeah.
When I started to do some reflection, I'm like, no, I actually feel that there are different people over the course of different stages of my life that have had that profound impact on me. So beginning early years, I would say my parents and my grandparents and parents and grandparents on both parents, and then my grandparents on both sides, like my mom's parents and then my dad's parents, because there were some key pieces of who I see myself to be now that I think came directly from them, right?
Yeah.
So I always talk about my parents teaching me sort of the lesson of consequences, right?
Yeah.
You make a choice, you live with the consequences.
Yeah, it's a consequence.
And so I find that, when it's time for me to make a decision, I can be very decisive. Like I will make a decision and I'm going to stick to it. But knowing that I've processed it as much as I can process it
Yes,
before
yes.
I make that decision. And some people might think that leads you to being overly cautious, or someone um, who's less willing to take risks. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel that it gives me a level of confidence in
Mm-hmm.
making a decision, for instance, when I have to make one, because I've processed the pros and the cons
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thoroughly, and I've looked at, what could the potential outcomes be, good or bad.
Yeah.
So that from my parents, I always remember that consequences, and the fact that I am able to, they taught me to speak up
Mm.
for myself,
Mm-hmm.
speak my thoughts, speak my opinions,
Yeah.
right? And do that in any arena, and to anyone, in a respectful manner.
Yeah, that's
Because,
key. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I don't recall ever being afraid of authority. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you know how, generally speaking, we kind of, like, being from Jamaica, being from the Caribbean, you're taught to, like, just be seen and not heard,
I'm
or
not
not
heard.
have nothing
Yeah.
to say, right? As
Yeah.
a child, that
Yeah.
wasn't my experience, right?
Okay, which is good.
And I
Mm-hmm.
see that translate through my early years, through
Mm-hmm.
school, because I was
Mm-hmm.
always one for talk,
Yes, you're
um,
outspoken.
and even into the workplace. I find
Mm-hmm.
that it still impacts me today, the fact that you're not going to intimidate me. It doesn't matter what
Mm-hmm.
position you hold, you're not going to intimidate me.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, which is good. Which is good. And I think we have to even bring that down to our children too,
Yeah,
for them to say, yes, you can speak your mind. You don't have to be rude and
exactly.
disrespectful, but you can speak your mind.
Yeah. You can do so in a respectful
Mm-hmm.
manner and make your voice be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I find for the early years that, sort of they impacted me in that way. And then my grandparents on both
Mm-hmm.
sides, can I tell you, love and acceptance? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like, especially my grandmother, the grandmothers are always like
Yeah.
more,
You're always talking
right?
about your grandmother. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
love and acceptance just
Yes.
of who you are. When I look around at, like, on my mother's side, I had a whole bunch of cousins. On my father's side, it was just pretty much two of us, a much older cousin and me. But when I say
Yes.
love and acceptance
Yes.
of just
Yes.
who
Yes.
you are,
Mm-hmm.
they taught me that. They loved us as
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
They loved their children, my
Mm-hmm.
parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that those experiences, those people taught me those things,
Yeah.
and have impacted who I am today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Real talk.
Real talk.
That's awesome. One of the things that, like, there's a few people that came to mind, but I was like, I could not speak to this topic without talking about my mentors,
Mm-hmm,
right? And I know I spoke a bit about, life being difficult. I don't
mm-hmm,
believe I would be the person I am today if I didn't have people speaking life into
mm-hmm,
me, right? And when I look back, and sometimes God just really have a way of surrounding you with people, because when I was in primary school, my principal that I'm still in contact with today, Miss Gaina,
mm-hmm.
she was someone, and from the inner city, she just, them teacher that would just take care of everybody, Pitney. She
Right.
was that teacher, not just coming and teaching you, but she taught you about life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Gaina, and the kids loved her, and she was just a mother to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So her, and in high school, the McDonald family,
Right.
Mr. and Mrs. McDonald, and my teacher as well, personal development teacher, Mrs. Davis Williams. She was a single
Mm-hmm.
mother, but you know them people that were just fearless. When you look
Mm-hmm.
upon her, you see strength,
Right.
right? She was like, I was like, this woman is just the epitome of strength. And Mr. and Mrs. McDonald, like
Yeah.
that family loved me without, and I'm not their biological child, but
Correct.
when you talk about selfless loving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could not, and mentors, right? I would say to any young person growing up, find mentors, find
Mm-hmm.
people who can really support you and speak life into you. And my life would not be where it is without my mentors and my spiritual mother, Caron, in Jamaica as well,
Right.
that I can pray with her and she covers me in prayer and everything. And you do need people like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say my mentors have truly, truly impacted my life and hold me accountable in love.
Right, right. Yeah.
Mm,
It's funny that you mentioned teachers in there because I had thought of a teacher of mine too when I was
mhm,
thinking about this. And this was my grade 5 teacher. I'll
mhm,
never forget this woman. Her name was Barbara Taylor.
mm.
And that woman, I went home with her many weekends. I don't know. I'm like, I don't
Really?
think this would,
This
stuff
that would
like
have
this,
happened nowadays.
that wouldn't happen nowadays. But
Yes.
I went home with her many weekends, and she had 2 daughters and I believe a son, if I remember.
Oh
But these
wow.
were older kids.
So you actually slept at her house?
Yes, Miss,
Oh
I
wow.
spend the weekend with
Oh
her,
wow. Oh wow. Oh
right?
wow.
But she was the person who introduced me consciously to books. To
Mhm,
books. And I
mhm.
remember the first book that I was aware of reading cover to
Yeah.
cover as a novel was The
Yeah.
Secret Garden.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Um,
Mhm,
and she read that book. We experienced that book in the class, and
mhm.
she gave me books.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that totally transformed my world because it totally opened me up to reading and learning in a different way,
Mhm.
like, vocabulary and
It opened
words.
your
And
your awareness to a different
it
life.
opened my awareness. I
Mhm,
remember her so vividly. And
mhm,
because of how important reading has been throughout my life, like I've loved it
mhm.
so much, I remember her. And I feel like she was the gateway for that part of my life to open up and for me to be able to experience
Oh wow. Mhm,
life through books, you know?
mhm.
So yeah, she I feel profoundly impacted me.
Nice.
And I mean, look at the things that we do now. We have with book club, we do our little
Exactly.
writing and
We do
stuff
the
like
devotions,
that.
we're reading
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah. So you never know how those seeds that's planted early,
yeah,
what it transcends into,
yeah.
right? That's amazing. And I have two more I can think of, Tam.
Mhm,
When I think of who have impacted my life, I'm always saying I love women and children,
mhm,
right? And especially working in the VAW sector, violence against women, and even working now in child welfare, I can say the people who I've worked with, my
mhm,
clients, different people who I've interacted with throughout the years have impacted my life so profoundly. Like even I always say I loved working in the shelter, and see when women come in, just broken down, right, with their
mhm,
children. Sometime in the middle of the night, you see women coming with their children. And then you see after a few months, the shift and the change that
mhm,
these women have made, right, with their children, do things for themselves. And I'm just always in awe, right, of
Mhm.
how women can bounce back and
Mhm.
do things for their families, right? And even working in child welfare and interacting with some families and some of the things that these people are saying to you and just interacting and even speaking life into you, even though
Mhm.
you're the work and you're engaging with them, just their strength and resilience, I can say, you know what? I feel fulfilled going to work
Right.
because of what I'm doing and because of the change that I'm seeing in people and the shift that people are making. So I can say these people that I've worked with, because not because they're down in situations, there's always life there. And
Mhm.
these families have shown me that, listen, you don't have to stay down. You can
Mhm.
rise back up. And these women and these children, even the children, have profoundly impacted my life
Yeah.
in so many ways. There's many days and many nights, I have to just sit and reflect. I was like, whoa, whoa, these people
Mhm.
have such strength about them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I would say, the people who I've interacted with in my line of work have
Mhm.
impacted my life so profoundly.
Yeah, because you sometimes you think that your situation is like bad. And when
Hmm.
you look at some things that people have had to endure, and like you said, how they have been able to bounce back
Yeah,
and how resilient they are,
it's humbling.
yeah, it has to humble you, it has to
Hmm.
impact you.
Hmm.
Um, so I thought about people who are in my life in various capacities, and this was hard. I don't know if Amir or you suggest the topic, yeah, but
You would have suggested.
I don't know why I did, but
You're having a
because
moment.
when I began to really think about it, I'm like, it's too many
It's
people.
a lot of people.
It's a lot
Hmm.
of people. It's a lot
Yeah.
of people, and you can't adequately address each person and how they may have impacted you, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I feel that in trying to do that, I think it's
Hmm.
something that we have to do on an ongoing basis. Tell people how you appreciate them. Tell
Oh
them how
yeah.
much they mean to you. Like I say, give people their flowers while they're
Don't
still
scatter,
here.
exactly. Don't scatter roses when I'm gone.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
So I have a category now of friends.
Yeah.
So
It's
I have to go
interesting you
by
say that.
category.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So now the next set of people who have impacted me profoundly are the friends that I've
Yeah.
had, right?
Hmm.
And these are friends and friendships that have been since childhood, like from
Yeah,
12
yeah.
years old to now. So I
Hmm.
have, my group of friends that from high school that have just kind of helped me to stay grounded and just
Yeah.
say, remember, these are some of the things that you lived through, that you
Hmm.
experienced.
Hmm.
These are some of the people that you have seen grow from one space to another, and
Hmm.
that challenges me as well. Right. I remember my friends Cheryl and Phil and
Why
Marsh.
nobody start calling the name,
It's
Kai? You don't want to forget nobody. Just say the
I'm
sister
telling you,
circle.
right? Sister circle. Yeah. And then some of these people are not people who I see or I've seen in years,
I know, I
but they
know.
still continue to have an impact
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
me, right?
Yeah, because you always talk about Cheryl and Philippine,
Yeah, and they keep
Paulette.
you grounded in a way.
Yes, yes.
Paulette, my dear departed friend,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
they keep you grounded in a way. Paulette taught me, you talk about being fearless.
Mm-hmm,
He tried to teach me to be fearless.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I admired that of her, and I knew that it was possible to face certain fears that I had, or to just, take certain risks because I
Mm-hmm.
saw her do it. And those are things that live with me. Like I feel like in terms of being able to honor her memory and the
Mm-hmm.
experience of her life, I need to do certain things, right? And just
Exactly.
kind of be fearless about it. And then there is you.
Mm-hmm. Interested in thought about that, but you can go ahead. Yes.
Listen, and I feel like the most growth that I have been consciously aware of in my last, say, 5 years of my life
Yes.
has been due to you being
Oh,
in my
much
life.
praises to God. Yeah. It's God, man.
Because I see myself having transformed from who I was into somebody totally different and capable. And you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
able to do certain things that I never even dreamed that I would do. Right. And it's only because of my interaction, my friendship with you, that
Amen.
those things have been birthed, right? And have come into reality. So you have significantly impacted me as a friend in that group of sisters.
Yes.
That I'm telling you, I can't even express and will forever be grateful for.
Why, no, and it's interesting, Tam, because that's exactly what I was going to talk about. Sisterhood, right? And it's funny because the other day I was thinking about something and I was like, you can have a spiritual connection, not just with your intimate partner, but with friends that you're truly connected with. And it goes back to even me. The other morning when we were doing devotion, I must say, Tam, it's been resonated in my soul that we should do this project, right?
Yes.
We're not gonna bust out about it right now because it's something that's coming soon, right? That we want to do this project. I said to me, Shan, I've been thinking about that too. You remember?
Yes, me remember.
One of the things that I was thinking about in terms of who have greatly impacted my life is my sisterhood, the woman in my life who I call family, who I call friends, right? I have one biological sister, but I can say that the sisters that God has placed in my life are friends who have become family. Real talk.
Real talk.
Right? People who I've known for years, right? As you said, from primary school, like my friends in Jamaica, my sisters here, and for the bond and the connection that I have with the woman in my life. And you specifically as well, Tam. There's so many, Petri and Sandrine and the woman here, Gemma, Sharon, different women in my life that I can call sister and friend, Dee, yourself, different women who have just loved me and supported me and are true sisters to me. You know what I mean? And it's not because you say you have a sister, you guys are not going to have disagreements. You have disagreements, but you love each other throughout. When I look at even my friendship with Petri, and you mentioned this with Cheryl and them, we might not talk every day, right? But when we talk, it's a bond, it's a connection, it's a love. She is my sister, you are my sister, and I have just been blessed with phenomenal women that God has placed in my life. Right, that I say are my sisters. When I talk about the McDonald's, Lori, Malika Baby's sister, and I was like, you know what? Sometimes we feel like we want something, right? Because you feel like, God, I wish I had another sister, but God has blessed me with so many sisters right now. I'm so full. Right. So it's the same sentiment, Tam. I feel the same way. My sisterhood and the relationships in my life.
And you know what? I had seen something the other day that said, the people you surround yourself with is really, we always hear from we young say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
Who you are, yeah.
Right? It speaks true in a lot of instances, but more so, the core of the people that we surround ourselves with are the people who, if you want to be something out of that, so let's say you want to be happy or you want to be successful or you want to be confident. You have to surround yourself with those people. And you can draw a little bit from each person because everybody don't have everything. Because like for me, I always tell people that you are the one who kind of bolster my confidence in certain areas. I might be confident in some areas, but in some other areas, I'm just like, no, stop, look at me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I know that I draw that from you, and I draw something else from another sister. Right? And these are the things
think about even our 40-day prayer group, sister circle.
Yes, that is another circle of
or circle of women who hold us accountable in prayer.
Yeah.
Mercy, what would we do without our deep sisters?
Our deep group, yeah, I know.
Right? So those group of women have been so impactful and have profoundly impacted our lives as well too, as women.
Yeah. And it's good when we can just kind of reflect on these types of things. And like I said, I think even telling people just what they mean to you and how they may have impacted your life it should be a regular thing, you know? One of my friends, she called me every now and again, send me a voice note. Oh, I just want to tell you how much I love you and how much, and I'm like, okay, nobody make me start ball. I know me ball at the drop of a hat.
I know.
But yeah. It's great when we can actually let people know what they mean to us, what they have done for us, how they have built us up, how they have fed us. I would challenge people to do that for someone in your life today who has impacted you.
Yeah,
anybody
just let
else?
People know. No, I think that's it for me. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it for me, right? That's it for me, you know, our relationships and different things, you know, these are the people who I am thinking about, and more will come after.
Of course. So thanks again, Shan and Tam, for listening. We hope that you have been filled from another episode. Yes. And as always, like we said, drop us a line, drop us a comment. Let us know what you're thinking, any topics you may want us to tackle, and look out for some exciting guests that are going to be coming up soon.
Yes.
We know Sarah must tired to hear we talk.
I know, but we'll break it up.
We have some exciting guests coming up for you soon. So keep listening and like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube channels. We'll talk to you again next time, Tam. Take care and stay well.
Bye for now.
Don't forget to visit Shan and Tam on all their social media websites. At Sisters Shan and Tam on Instagram, Shan Tam Lodge-Lee on Facebook, and check out their blogs at shanandtam.blogspot.com. Tune in again next time on Real Talk.